Hi there. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot, and it's time for February highlights and themes. This month I've got the Unfolding Path Tarot and the Rune Magic Rune deck. As always, this will be an intuitive reading and a general reading, of course, for a general audience. So please take the messages that resonate with you and leave the rest. I've got the signs, of course, broken up, so skip ahead to your sun sign or your moon sign, your rising sign. If you've got a stellium of planets in a particular sign, maybe it makes sense to check out that reading too. But in any case, I will catch up with you in your sign. See you there. Hi, Aries. Let's get your rune first. Ooh, nice. Rado. Ooh, let's get that. Okay, and your tarot. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you can tell from the artwork on your rune card here that Rado is all about movement, journeys, progress. That's pretty straightforward, right? That's literally what the rune is about. Going, green lights, and having that sort of drive to move forward. There might be messages that inspire that movement or that sort of spur that movement. So like if you've put resumes out there or that sort of thing. Now there's more of a focus on like career, job security, that kind of thing, your practical life with this particular rune. There's also a message here about taking control, taking the reins, taking charge, looking at the direction in which you're going and focusing on the direction in which you're going. And just, you know, keeping your eyes on the prize kind of message, okay? And that's echoed very much in your tarot as well. The sort of main theme we have here is the Eight of Pentacles, which is the card of the craftsperson. It's about being really invested in your work. So even if you're not a 9-to-5 person or not sort of in the career phase of your life, if you're retired or something like that, this could speak to your hobby or some other talent or special project you're working on. If you're a student, obviously, whatever you're putting your work or efforts into. But it shows that there's an area in your life that, you know, you can put really a lot of effort into and start to see, again, progress with your focus, your efforts, your intention, and there's passion here too. And with that effort, with that focus, with that determination, and a certain kind of artistry, as you can see the artwork in this particular version of the Eight of Pentacles speaks to an artistry, a love of the craft, right? You start to see rewards, maybe more art, orders or clients or followers, subscribers, if that makes sense in your situation. Take it as it resonates for you, Aries. But the Four of Pentacles suggests there may be a concern on your part, just internally, about whether or not you have enough. This could be a concern about whether or not you have enough resources to fund your project or fund your entrepreneurial endeavor. It could be a concern about whether or not you have enough skills or talents to follow a particular passion. But this is a concern or a worry that is simply internal. The fact that this card shows up here is telling you not that it's true, but that it is something that is stealing focus from your true kind of calling, okay? There is a real gift that you have that this when this card shows up, it suggests that you can be actually more generous with your talent, more generous with your skills. Don't be afraid that you don't have enough, because the truth of it is kind of the more of yourself or the more you invest in your project or your skill or your job or this, whatever this is for you, the more followers or orders, or the more you're likely to advance, or the faster progress you can make. There's a message here about being authentic, about showing more of yourself or more of your skill. So take that as it sort of applies in your situation. Now, February might find you needing to make a choice. A Seven of Cups is kind of about needing to, seeing options or needing to make a choice. So do follow sort of your heart on this piece. There might be a moment where you're torn between which way to go, and the thing is, it might feel like you have a number of different options, but the truth is there's really only one or two right ways to go. So don't get too bogged down in too many shiny paths. Kind of the most heart-centered option is really going to be the most realistic one. And it looks like you are going to get clarity, because the Six of Swords shows you making a decision and moving on from this sort of foggy lack of vision into a more determined purpose. The Six of Swords is all about moving forward with clarity and purpose, just like our rune suggests. So whatever you need to do, ask more questions, get more information in order to make this decision and move forward. I'm going to leave it there for you, Aries. I hope that's inspiring. Hello, Taurus. Let's grab your rune. Fehu. Nice. All right, and your tarot. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. So starting with your rune, Fehu is the rune of basically wealth. It's the wealth you have acquired or wealth you have earned. It can indicate material gain. It can indicate sort of power, because sometimes being wealthy means having power. It can indicate security, feeling secure. So even if you don't feel like you have a lot, this rune indicates you have enough, or enough to build from, enough to increase or expand on or grow with, and this is echoed in your tarot here. So the main theme we have here is the Seven of Pentacles, which is the card of sort of nurturing what you have. The Pentacles, of course, is the suit of your security. Sometimes it speaks to your finances directly, or your job, your career path, that sort of thing. And the seven speaks to that part in the Pentacles story where you're nurturing either your finances, or you're nurturing your job, you're nurturing your career path, where you haven't quite reached the pinnacle or the phase where you want to be just yet. You haven't quite reached the full harvest. There's still a little bit of sort of tending to or effort on your part while the crops mature, as it were. So whatever your metaphorical crops are, whether it's your 9 to 5 or the artistic endeavor you pursue while you maintain your survival job, whatever it is. If you're retired, this could be a special project, or your investments and how you handle your investments. I am not a financial planner, so I don't give financial advice in any way, but take it as it resonates for you. This is speaking to nurturing either your job or your career, aspirations, taking those next little steps and being a little patient while whatever needs to mature, in whatever way it needs to mature, kind of does its thing. Now we do see kind of in our clarifiers here, or what else happens in the month, we see a success. The Six of Wands here is a success or a victory in some way. If I can pick up the card here, you achieve some victory or some recognition. The Six of Wands tends to indicate it's something that you're proud of, or there's like an ego attachment, the good kind of ego, right? It could be a creative endeavor, actually, or it may be in the workplace. You get some sort of like employee of the month, or you could get a role in a play, or take it as it resonates for you. It could even be a new job or something like that, but it feels like a milestone. It feels like validation. It's recognition of some kind, and it feels great, right? It's in some way you stand out or receive a recognition or validation. So there's that. We also have the Ace of Cups here, which again, it's another form of validation, but it's a new cycle begins in like your emotional life. So it could be the beginning of feeling really connected and validated, either with a new person or a new group of people. So this can be a romantic relationship, this can be a friendship, this can be with a new group of people, a creative group like a choir or an improv group. This could be in a new workplace even. You could find that if this is a new job, you could find that you work really well with your new teammates or something like that. It could be a new collaboration with a new business partner or something like that. Take it as it resonates for you. But the aces always begin a sort of a new cycle. So you may be finding yourself in a whole new phase or a new chapter in relating with another person or a new group of people. So that's really exciting. And then finally, we have the Knight of Wands, which indicates a message that inspires you to change or to take a new direction or to make some kind of action towards something you enjoy, something inspiring. Again, the options are kind of endless. It depends on the specific Taurus involved here, right? But it could be something creative or even something athletic. It could be the kind of thing where a friend invites you to train for a marathon on behalf of a charity event, you know, to raise funds for charity. It could be you hear of an audition again. You hear an audition for a musical you've always wanted to be in, so you decide to audition for that or something. Or it could be you decide to, you see that a food truck is available for sale and you always wanted to, you know, have your own food truck, and you decide to, you know, invest in that or something along those lines. So with Taurus, it really looks like a month where it maybe starts out kind of slow, like you're waiting for progress to happen, but then very quickly you kind of move from, you have some sort of recognition, success, victory, and another opportunity to make a move after connecting with another person or group of people that really make you feel secure and validated. It's a really lovely month, and I would happily take this reading, but I'll leave it there for you, Taurus. I hope this has been inspiring. Hello, Gemini. Let's grab your rune first. Ooh, Tiwaz. Let's put that, okay. And your tarot. I apologize for my neighborhood if you hear the honking. Okay. Okay. I think I see what's going on here. Okay, Gemini. So first, let's start with your rune. Tiwaz is the rune of justice, courage, honor, doing the right thing. So you may feel the need to stick up for yourself, maybe even make a sacrifice in the name of honor, your honor, someone else's honor. There could be something legal. It could be about confronting someone with a conversation. It could be literally a legal situation. It could be about cutting someone, you know, setting a boundary, or it could be having a, you know, those difficult conversations, or trying to uncover a truth, getting to the bottom of something. There's an element of being a warrior here, or there could be someone like a soldier or a police officer involved. And we do kind of see this echoed very much in your tarot. So first of all, I would say the essence of this is doing the right thing for the right thing, for the right reason, standing up for yourself, getting justice, not letting uncomfortable situations linger. Let's put it that way. Now, the main theme we have here in your tarot is the Seven of Swords. I've heard a number of different tarot readers have some different takes on this, But my experience with the Seven of Swords is it tends to be about information and using information for your benefit. This guy in the artwork here, this guy looks kind of sneaky, right? He looks like kind of a robber. But in my experience, and the way I always read this card is sometimes you need to get sometimes you come across information before someone else does, and you can use it to your advantage, not because you're sneaky, but just because, like, if you hear about a job opening before somebody else does and you get your resume in first, you're not a jerk for being the early bird that gets the worm, right? So it's that kind of a situation. Sometimes you need to use information to your advantage, and finding out the truth of something or finding out some information can be to your advantage or to your benefit in February. So there's the truth of something that is significant both here in your tarot and here in your rune. But we want to make sure we're dealing in truth and dealing in facts. The rune is not about dealing in assumptions or dealing in guesswork or rumors. This is about the truth and using the truth, using information to your benefit, facts. So keep that in mind. So one of the cards we have here associated with how you're using information is the Four of Cups. And now the thing with the Four of Cups is you can see there are some spent cups here. And our central character, is this in focus? Our central character does not look pleased. Usually this is a card of sort of a moment of a lack of fulfillment or dissatisfaction. This card often comes up when our central character has maybe outgrown a role, like they're at a job that doesn't suit them anymore because their tasks are too simple, the pay is too limited or something like that. But the Four of Cups always speaks to the notion that there is a new opportunity at hand. It's just our central character is often looking in the wrong direction, or is so busy being disappointed they're not seeing what's there in their own environment, that there is an opportunity that is full and rich and bubbly. So there is the recommendation here that you take a look around. There is something to your benefit that will be more fulfilling to you. But you just, if you let go of your disappointment or your frustration or your boredom or whatever is going on, and this doesn't necessarily have to be, like I said, about your job. This could be about a personal relationship. This could be about a living situation. This could be about just about anything in your life. Take it as it resonates for you. But there could be some situation in your life where you're feeling underwhelmed. And this card suggests taking a look around for other options. There's either something available to you already or something that's just about to be on offer that might not have been what you were looking for or expected or have ever done before or thought about before, but a real opportunity to be fulfilled is at hand. So keep that in mind. Now, we do have the Knight of Swords here, and the Knight of Swords is the fastest acting change agent in the tarot. And this particular character often comes with an offer with information. So just like we said over here, there's about to be an offer at hand, that there's information, news you can use, that there might be a conversation or something that puts things to right, or a conversation you need to have. There could be some information or some news or an invitation that you receive that requires you to take a job, leave a living situation, change your mind, say yes or say no more, something along those lines. Some news, some bit of information, some invitation that's going to require probably a quick change mid-month. And we see this paired with the Eight of Cups, which again suggests a move, a change. The Eight of Cups is usually about letting go, moving on, moving towards something better, moving towards something else. You know, as we spoke about with the Four of Cups and this feeling of disappointment, dissatisfaction, even boredom, with the Eight of Cups, our central character has sort of gotten up and is moving on. So whatever this offer is here, the central character is taking it and is moving on towards whatever that might be. So Gemini, I think, you know, whatever it is that is coming in, this information, this invitation, it is about doing the right thing. It is about using information to make a decision, to take the right kind of action. And ultimately, it is also bound with feeling more fulfillment, about feeling more validated even, and moving towards more satisfaction. So I'm going to leave it there for you, Gemini. I hope this has been helpful. Hello, Cancer. Let's get your rune. Rado. Okay, that's cool. And your tarot. Okay. Oh, okay. That's so interesting. Okay, so Rado is all about progress, forward momentum, movement. There's a little bit here about taking the reins, taking charge, being clear on your direction. Like, where do you want to go? And then focusing your energy that way, instead of being kind of tossed about by the winds or going with the flow. Like, where do you want to go? There's a little bit of Chariot energy here too. So like getting the green light and going. So that's great. Feeling like there's the swell of momentum under you, kind of helping you move forward, instead of feeling like blocked or stuck. You know, there's this momentum pushing you forward. We'll talk about this in a second, but like feeling like a helpful push from the universe, as it were, having like horsepower, momentum, ready to go. All right, and then the main theme here is the Ten of Cups, which is, you know, talking about connections and your emotional life, your emotional satisfaction, and feeling connected with community. So you know, we've got a number of cards here, a number of cup cards here. So there's a lot of action sort of in your connections and feeling satisfaction in community, whether it's one-on-one. Maybe some of you will be focusing on one-on-one relationships, but it looks like there could be kind of a few paths here: one-on-one relationships, maybe family stuff, and maybe also co-worker stuff or other community stuff, other associations you might belong to, like if you belong to a choir or a bowling league, or, you know, things like that, like how your connections are working for you, or making progress in the relationships that you want to feel closer to, or you want to feel more validation from, or you want to be kind of more your true self with, you know, that sort of thing. Tens are about endings and beginnings, right? So there's like new chapters, feeling a culmination maybe in one place and beginning in another place. So that can be something along the lines of maybe ending one relationship as you start another relationship. That could be romantically for some folks. Now take it as it resonates for you, Cancer. If it doesn't really apply in your situation, leave that for another Cancer. But it could be, some folks could be welcoming new family members, could be welcoming new romantic relationships, could be joining new teams or associations. You know, take it as it resonates. This could be as some relationships may shift and change as you join new scenarios, or maybe leave some scenarios. This could be, you know, bringing up some insecurities, or if there's some family dynamics that are shifting. You know, sometimes when we have to face some family dynamics, like if we have to go home and deal with, like, if one of the endings is a family member who's ill, or if a family member is getting married or something, this can bring up insecurities. Or sometimes we regress. You know, we can be a total grown-up in our own career, but when we have to deal with family, we become a 15-year-old again or something. The Eight of Swords can indicate that feeling of being trapped, even when we're not literally trapped. That feeling of being trapped in our mind, being trapped by our own insecurities, being pinned down by feelings from, you know, what the bully used to call us, or what a critical parent used to tell us about ourselves, that sort of thing. The truth of the Eight of Swords situation is that we're only as trapped as we let our minds tell us we're trapped. Like, obviously in the artwork, in every Eight of Swords, our central character can walk away from this little jail. It's just self-imprisonment. So if you need to reach out to someone who can listen to your venting, who can remind you how fabulous you are, who can help you unpick this, you know, insecurities, or these lies that you tell yourself, to free you from this self-imprisonment. On the other side of it, we have, you know, so much fun. The Six of Cups is connecting with maybe a friend from high school. This can also be, you know, a fun first date. It doesn't look like it in the artwork of this card, but it can be connecting with fun. It can be connecting with community. It's definitely playfulness and security and validation. And this can even be adopting a pet or something along those lines. It can definitely be a relationship with one person, or a community, or an animal that makes you feel safe and secure and seen and validated. So, you know, definitely release yourself from this, and you get to enjoy the fun and the playfulness. And then we also have the Page of Cups, which again, that's an invitation to another group or a really fun, possibly romantic date, or it could even be an invitation to something like an artistic collaboration, or for anyone who might need it, especially if this was a doozy, you might have someone who invites you to a 12-step program, or gives you a hot tip on a good therapist or something. The Page of Cups can also be an invitation to therapy, or a way to help yourself through, you know, some of this, if it's too dark and not something that you can really untangle yourself. It's okay to ask for help, or reach out, or find a group or something like that. So the theme, the essence is absolutely about making healthy connections, inviting new people into your life, letting go of the connections that aren't healthy, that might feel toxic or bring up not helpful feelings, and instead welcoming and enjoying fun, playful, therapeutic connections into your life. That's what's ahead for your progress and advancement in February. Cancer, I'm going to leave it there for you. I hope this has been inspiring. Hello, Leo. Let's grab your rune. Dagaz. Okay. And your tarot. Ooh. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Leo. So your rune, this is intense. Okay, so your rune is Dagaz, which is initiation, transformation, new life. It's day. It's sort of rebirth. It's newness. It's a breakthrough. It's like the phoenix, right? It's like the phoenix rising from the fire. It's obviously the art on this one is the butterfly, the transformation. So something breaks through. And this kind of idea of breakthrough or rebirth, or something bursting forth, a new thing coming through, really comes through in your tarot as well. It's very much echoed here. The main theme with the Hierophant, you know, the Hierophant can very much speak to up-leveling. There's the piece in the Hierophant about, you know, increasing your skills by degrees, right? Kind of like in karate, you know, how you get different belts as you increase your skill set, as you increase your knowledge, as you increase your experience. It's that kind of a thing. So there's like this sense in your reading of up-leveling your experience. You're advancing here. There's an advancement in February for you here. And we see this also in the Chariot, where there's like, it's go time. It's like green light, forward movement, and you get to choose the direction. You get to go in the direction you want to go. You are sort of graced by the universe in like that push towards the direction you want to go, towards the stuff you want to go towards, right? You just kind of point your vehicle in the direction that you want to head to, and it's go time. Now, the Ten of Wands, this looks like kind of effort, right? It's the closing out of a cycle, and it's kind of the cleanup duty as you finish one cycle and begin a new cycle. And usually the wands indicates an area of your life where you have ego attachment, you know, good ego. So it could be a project or a career piece where you really want to see progress, transformation, something new evolve, right? So if you're looking for a new job or up leveling or, you know, a promotion, something like that, it looks like you get this new promotion that has you maybe training somebody else. You know, you're passing off your duties while you're taking on new duties, kind of thing, is what the Ten of Wands kind of speaks to. Or you're kind of maybe interviewing for new jobs while you're kind of trying to maintain your current job on the DL. You're handing out resumes and having a lot of doctor's appointments, as it were, you know, and interviewing and whatnot, or auditioning or whatever. But the fact that the Emperor is here is showing like you're really in charge. You're taking charge of building your future, building your world, your universe, the way you want it to be. You're using your skill set, your vision. And the Emperor also suggests you can outsource stuff. Like, you don't have to build everything with your own two hands. If you need to delegate, if you need to have someone, you know, review your, say, resume, you know, you need someone to fancy up your resume or something like that. Or I don't know, take it as it resonates for you. I don't know in what other way you might need to outsource something for your portfolio, or whatever your project. Like, if you're a magician, maybe you might have to outsource somebody else to build a prop for your show or something. That's just the first thing that popped into my head. Just take it as it resonates for you and your project. But we definitely see a breakthrough here, an up-leveling. That thing you've been waiting for comes through. You get to go towards the thing that you want, the up-leveling, the promotion. And it might be a bit of work. It might be a bit of juggling. You're moving ahead while you're still hanging on to a survival job or training somebody in your other role or whatever, but you are working towards the vision of your life, of yourself, that you've always wanted. So here it is, Leo. This is what you've been asking for, so congratulations. I hope you find this inspiring. I'm going to leave it there for you. Hello, Virgo. Let's grab your rune. Oh, nice. It just doesn't, well, I mean, there are some terrific runes. This is one of the most terrific. Okay, let's grab your tarot. Okay. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Virgo. Well, it looks like something is coming to light in February. Something that maybe you suspected, and something that you are going to deal with once and for all. And once this is out in the open, you will be able to make some decisions. This is intense, but let's go through it. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest, okay? Don't make any assumptions here. We'll go through it. But first of all, let me say the Sun card is awesome. So we have that going for us. It is all about clarity, vitality, inspiration. There are successes and victories here, and the ability to move forward with clarity, and with right and might. Okay? So this is a positive card, because with the Sun we have clarity. We can see what's going on. We know what's going on. Stuff comes to light. We can make our decisions. We can move forward with power. What I see in the tarot here is that there is an ending that needs to happen, and it looks like it's because a piece of information has come to light, right? Something that you have to deal with, or something that has to be finalized. And it's the Sun that brings you the clarity, the information. Now that this information is out, you can move forward. Now that you know what it is that you're dealing with, you can make decisions. It might not have been pleasant. It might not have been ideal, but now that you know what you're dealing with, you can see everything that's going on, you can make your choices. So with the Ten of Swords, we have an ending, but now we have a new beginning. This is not my favorite version of the Ten of Swords. Like usually with the Ten of Swords, we see a dawn. You know, we see the sunrise, and with that, you know, we can talk about the Sun giving us clarity and being able to move forward into a new day and a new chapter. So this looks, you know, painful, which is not ideal and not where we want to, you know, leave the tarot, obviously. So moving beyond the sort of not ideal artwork, with endings and beginnings, you know, the end of a painful chapter that was maybe mysterious, or where there was uncertainty or lack of clarity, we're now moving into a phase where you have the power. With the clarity, you have the power. You know where you want to go, how you're going to move forward now. And the thing is, you have the information, and it looks like maybe there is a party or another party that doesn't know that you know what you know. So that may be an advantage for you as you move forward. But you know, there's a piece with the Seven of Swords here about moving forward with this information, with the power and your clarity, keeping karma in mind for yourself. You know, there's this adage that, you know, as ye sow, so shall ye reap, right? And as much as you may want to take something out on somebody else. Now, this is a really kind of specific reading, so take this as it resonates for you. But I'm just reading what I'm getting here from these particular very intense cards here, right? Just do what's right for your karma, right? And what you have here is an opportunity to use this information to your benefit, so you don't, and you can do it without taking in any harmful karma on yourself. I'll just put it that way. Now, the Nine of Swords suggests a time when you may have known worry or concern, but don't lose any more sleep over moving forward. To protect yourself, the Queen of Swords suggests you may have to make an ending or cut, be decisive about maybe, again, cutting someone or something out of your life for your own, being decisive, or editing something for your own protection. And it's fair and right. This Queen of Swords does the fair thing, does the right thing for herself and to protect her family and her loved ones or her business. She is fair and concise and does the right thing moving forward. So as long as you do the fair thing, even if the fair thing hasn't been done to you in the past, now that you have the information that you need to make the decisions to edit what you need to edit, as the case may be, you can move forward with the power and the clarity to be decisive in the way you need to be decisive. Wow, this is a very intense reading, but I think, the information that you need, even if it wasn't maybe what you were hoping for, will empower you just the same. So just focus on the power and the strength. And the good karma. I'm going to leave it there for you, Virgo. I hope this has been helpful. Hello, Libra. Let's grab your rune. Fehu. Okay. And your tarot. Ooh, wow, okay. I apologize in advance if you can hear the helicopters in my neighborhood. I'm going to try to keep going anyway because your cards are good. But Fehu is the rune of, it's cattle, which translates to like wealth or resources, what you have. It's kind of like your paycheck or a paycheck coming in, a material gain. It's also translates to having power because, sometimes having wealth means having influence. So you could have influence in a situation. So let's keep that in mind as we look at your tarot here. The main theme here is one of the best cards in the whole tarot deck. The Nine of Cups is the card of wish fulfillment or satisfaction, feeling satisfied, feeling connected, feeling like something, a wish comes true, something comes in that you wanted, a validation comes in. Maybe, this is in the realm of often our connections, like our emotional connections. So it could be something like your kids validate you or thank you for something. It could be a hot date or even a lukewarm date night, something like that. Or it could be something like on the job, you get recognition, validation, a promotion, a pay raise, a really great order, you know, commissions or something like that. In any case, you know, just take it as it translates in your life. Something that can make you feel seen and validated and connected in your world comes through, and it makes you feel seen and validated and really satisfied, emotionally secure. Okay, and now some of these other cards are really interesting around it. We have the Eight of Pentacles, so there is a hint here that this could be happening in the workplace if you have like a 9 to 5, or in your career or sort of ambitions realm. The Eight of Pentacles is the card of the craftsperson. So it could be on the job or with a hobby or a project or a side hustle, entrepreneurial thing that you're working on. There's also the element here, you can see it in the art, where it could be a creative endeavor. So even if you have a 9 to 5 job, but maybe you write novels on the side or something like that, it could be about your artistic endeavors. But there's something that you do, that you put a lot of work into, that is going to see a result, or maybe more followers, or you get more sales or something like that. And that's the thing that gives you the satisfaction, the validation, like that. Now, the Seven of Swords always speaks to a bit of information that you can use that maybe not everybody is privy to. This can be the sort of thing where you hear about a job opening before everybody else does, and you're the first one to get your resume in. Or, now, this sounds kind of iffy, but maybe you hear your crush, someone that is never single when you're single, is finally single when you're single, and you know, you decide to use that information to your advantage, something like that. But it can be information you find out about through social media, through a friend, something like that. And using information that might not be totally public knowledge or known to everybody, and being able to use it to your personal advantage. See, this guy always looks a little bit sneaky, but you know, we always want, we don't want to use this in a bad karma kind of way, right? But there's nothing wrong with, say, being the first one to get your resume in, or whatever it is. So I'm going to leave that there. And then finally here we have the Two of Swords. Now this card tends to indicate that you may have a decision to make towards the end of the month, and you're kind of torn between what seems to you to be only two options. Maybe not being sure which way to go. When the Two of Swords comes up, it can indicate that maybe you don't have enough information to make a strong decision. It can also mean that you're only looking at two options when there might be a better third option or fourth option or something you haven't yet considered. So don't limit yourself to just the information that is available. Again, do some more research, ask some more questions, get on social media if you have to, or you know, whatever you need to do, because where you're at with this decision, there's just not enough information until your head and your heart feel good about moving forward. You do not have to decide. You do not have to make a move. You do not have to move forward. There's likely to be a third option or another piece of information that helps you, that clarifies things, or it may just be that now is not the time to make the move, and you might have to be looking at March to make that final decision. So there it is. I'm going to leave it there for you, Libra. I hope this has been inspiring. Hello, Scorpio. Let's grab your rune first. Oh, Manaz, and that has some naked people on there, so let's do that. Okay. I have to put that little modesty crystal on there due to YouTube's modesty needs. Now for your tarot. Oof. That's okay. We can handle it. Ooh. All right. Okay, that's so interesting. So for your rune, Manaz, or Man, this is kind of the rune of yourself or the self within community. So kind of knowing yourself within your tribe, your community, your place within your people, as it were. So there's a piece here about knowing yourself. There's also a piece here about being a part of something larger and kind of finding boundaries, being able to feel comfortable in being truly yourself, but also being able to contribute to something larger than yourself. So contributing to your community, but also being fully, truly, unapologetically yourself, and kind of negotiating those spaces, as it were. So there's a balance, right? There's kind of a push-pull between your own personal needs and contributing to community. We see that echoed here a little bit in your tarot in a couple of ways. Now, first, the main theme we have here is the Two of Pentacles, which is one of the sort of juggly, balancy cards of the tarot. Now, this particular card speaks to balancing or juggling resources, and it can speak directly to sort of finances or security. It can be about kind of juggling jobs. It might be the situation where you're juggling a couple of jobs right now, or juggling like a day job and an artistic pursuit, or kind of juggling one job while you're trying to interview or find find a better fitting position. It could be that you want to have one thing that's secure while you're also working on an entrepreneurial piece that you're building on the side for yourself. And it could be that you've got a job and you're pursuing an education that's going to be eventually more secure, but at the moment, you know, you're still learning and growing and what have you. So kind of as you're redefining yourself in your educational piece or whatever that second bit is, you know, it's a juggling act, right? Now, when this card shows up, it does indicate that the things that you're juggling will eventually even out. That you're building something worth juggling for, but at the moment it does feel taxing, and this is you know, kind of supported or reflected here by the Five of Pentacles. There's a little bit of warning about burnout here in this phase. So do be careful. The Five of Pentacles can indicate a time when you're low on resources. And this typically comes up for me actually when I'm juggling too many obligations and I wear myself out and get a little sick. So do be sure to get enough rest, delegate whatever you can, make sure you're dressing appropriately for the weather, and you know, eating well, and you know, getting enough vitamins, or you know, whatever it is, because this can indicate you know, burnout that causes illness. So do be careful here. And the good news, and this is probably the highlight, this may be the highlight of the reading here. The Knight indicates an offer coming through. Now, it is a Knight of Cups, which can indicate something in the realm of our emotional connections or feelings or something like that. But this can also be in the area of business or artistic collaborations. So take it as it resonates for you. Whatever you're kind of juggling, it seems like this is going to be a realistic offer in the area that, you know, you're looking for a breakthrough in. And of course, with this rune being about, you know, that balance between the self and participating with community, it seems like, you know, collaboration, connection there makes a certain kind of sense. Now, the last card we have here, the King of Swords. Now, this could very well be something along the lines of a new boss or an agent or an advisor that, you know, you might be interviewing with, or somebody that has news or advice for you about kind of the next phase. A professor, if you're a student, who can advise you on next steps or help you grow, or, you know, give you a good grade, connect you with a collaborator, something like that. So take that as it resonates for you. There's also a piece about, with the King of Swords, they can be connected with law enforcement, positive law enforcement, legal institutions like lawyers, litigators, mediators, judges, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in going into the legal profession, there could be some connection, an invitation or advice there, or even a legal situation could go in your favor, or something like that. The King of Swords can also be connected with writing, editing, that sort of thing. So if your maybe side hustle is in writing or something along those lines, there could be good news or advice or a connection in that area. So that's what I have for you. I'm going to leave it there. I hope this has been inspiring. Hello, Sagittarius. Let's grab your rune. Ooh, wonderful. Wunjo. And now your tarot. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay. So, I'm not laughing at you, Sagittarius. I'm laughing with you. So Wunjo is like one of the brightest runes. It is the rune of joy, of hope, of celebration. It's sort of the party rune. But like not in like the college party way, but like in having something to celebrate. It can be about like weddings and birth and graduation, that kind of party, right? Having like, you know, your friends around you and your family around you, and a life milestone to celebrate, or just, you know, a holiday, a fun holiday to celebrate, a picnic, you know, celebrating for celebrating's sake, just getting together for getting together's sake kind of stuff. It's just pure joy, right? Happy. Why not? Why not be happy? I mean, granted, just to bring it down for a millisecond, there's some heavy stuff happening in the world right now. I would be remiss if I just glossed over it, but this rune is giving you permission to celebrate something. Maybe your sister just had a baby, or maybe you just graduated something, but the rune is suggesting you have a reason to be okay with celebrating something and to allow for that joy. So here we are. The tarot echoes that. This is all about the joy of connecting with the other wonderful connections in your life, the other people. This can be romantic, this can be platonic, this can be the cool co-workers you get along with, or neighbors, or you know, your artistic collaborators. Take it as it resonates for you. But the main theme here is invitations that inspire you to connect and to go out and to, you know, go to a restaurant, to go to the theater, or go to the movies, or whatever, to connect with your friends and loved ones. So the Knight of Cups is an invitation that comes in. It can, like I said, maybe it's romantic. It certainly, if you're single and looking, this is a terrific omen. If you're not on those dating apps, just go ahead and do it. Get on those dating apps. Go ahead and flirt and swipe and whatever, however those are happening. If you'd rather meet in person, I think they still have those agencies where you can speed date, or they set up parties in real life. Let's see, is that in focus? You know, go ahead and do that. And if it's not about romantic, it can be about just getting back in touch with friends that maybe you haven't made enough time for. It can maybe be reconnecting with friends from high school, or your old neighbors, or something like that. Making more time for your sister. Finding a group to connect with. If you've really been aching to maybe sing more, getting involved with a choir, or if you know you need a little maybe emotional mental support, maybe joining a 12-step group. But there's a piece here where it's like an invitation to you. So someone may issue you an invitation. You get an audition, and you get the callback. You get cast in that play, or something along those lines. This is kind of the getting picked, or someone asks you out, or your friend reaches out to go to the theater, or whatever it is. It's the same thing with the page. This is like getting a lot of likes or swipes, or the interview for that dream job you've been trying to get an interview at, sort of thing. The Six of Cups, again, this is that playful connective card, being able to hang out with your friend from your old friend from high school, or having a really playful first date, or having a really great connection with your improv group and deciding to maybe take it to, I don't know, what do they call it, like a place where a bunch of improvisers meet, and like do they have improv tournaments still? I don't know what's happened since COVID, but, you know, a connection with a person or a group that makes you feel playful and youthful and connected and, you know, validated. Now, the only kind of not in the same vein card we have here is the Seven of Cups, which is suggesting a moment of maybe feeling like you need to make a choice or make an option, you know, feeling like you have options and not knowing which way to go. This is especially true for those of you on those dating apps, or maybe someone who's put out a bunch of resumes and now feels like they might have to choose between jobs or something like that. And I'd say probably not all the options you think you have are truly long-term options, especially in the dating realm, but go ahead and have fun and try it and see what sticks around. And that can be true for the job interviews as well. But at the end of the day, following your heart is your best bet. The things that align with your values and the sort of the truth of you, being really honest with yourself, are probably the things to prioritize, and not wasting too much time with things that are shiny and interesting, but maybe really far afield from who you are and who you've always been. So, but with that said, it looks like a really fun and playful, potentially romantic, certainly creative if you want it to be, kind of month. So Sagittarius, I hope this has been inspiring. I'm going to leave it there for you. Hello Capricorn, let's grab your rune. Okay, Tiwas. And for your tarot, ooh, wow, okay. Yeah, so Tiwas and the King of Swords have a lot in common. Okay, so Tiwas is the rune of justice, courage, honor, doing what's right, doing the right thing. There can be a moment of bravery here, needing to have a tough conversation, needing to get to the heart of something. Sometimes there's an element of sacrifice in the sense of maybe something needs to end, or you need to edit something, maybe you need to let something go. But you know, there's very much the sense of doing the right thing for the right reason. This card can be associated with legal issues, law enforcement, police officers, military, that sort of, it's got that kind of vibe, soldiers, that kind of vibe. And the King of Swords over here has a lot of the same elements here. And this can be a judge, a lawyer, a litigator, a mediator. This is someone who is a wise counsel, a wise advisor. It can be like a professor. This can be someone who's very good with words, writing, contracts, does not suffer fools, right? Does not mince words, isn't about the flowery word, gets right to the, you know, heart of the matter, gets right to the subject, right? So there's a piece here about maybe having an important conversation, getting to the heart of the matter, getting to the root of the matter, and maybe a contract issue, a legal issue. You might be this King of Swords, writing a contract, or needing. You might go to someone like a King of Swords needing to write a contract or review a contract or get a contract, is something like that. Dissolve a contract. A legal issue might come out in your favor, or you might be dealing with like a soldier, VA issue. It could even be, medical issue, something like that. This rune can also be associated with surgery. I can't give medical advice or legal advice, but so definitely go to professionals. But this can indicate, seeking professional advice and, doing the right thing for the right reason, facing maybe a challenge and facing a challenge head on, like a soldier does. I think you get what I'm saying with that kind of vibe. What's interesting is, like, although these two are very similar, the cards around it are kind of more nurturing. So there's something that's about like getting information, having the conversation, getting the information, getting to the heart of the matter. And then there's like, this is about balance. This is about flexibility. This is about moving forward. So once you get this information, then there's this piece with Temperance that is about, okay, how can I use this information with the truth of me or with the truth of my life? Temperance is kind of like the melding card. So now that I have this information, now that I have these facts, how do I use it how do I make it work with the rest of my life? Then the Page of Wands is, kind of having news or excitement to move forward with a new project. It could be something athletic or something creative or something that's just tied to your ego that makes you feel motivated or inspired. Sometimes this is like a play, or it's like training for a marathon or finding a new athletic sort of exercise program that you really like or something like that. And then the Hanged One is like being ready for sort of a new epiphany, a new vantage point, being ready to experience life in a new way. That sounds really heady, but typically the major arcana cards are kind of those cards that suggest, what? I need a bit of a shift. I need kind of a heart change, maybe a headspace change. I need kind of a new way to interface with the world. And the Hanged One is really about, you can even see it in the artwork, right? She's upside down. And I love this particular one because she's so graceful about it. Sometimes the Hanged One looks really awkward and painful, but she looks like a gymnast, right? And the thing of it is, when the Hanged One is upside down, they're able to see life from a whole different vantage point. And it's in this weird position that they have this epiphany, or they reach this enlightenment, and they're able to see everything in this new way that allows them to make some new conclusions, to have this enlightenment that unsticks them from like whatever their hang up was before. So even if you have to be even if this news wasn't ideal, even if you've had to make some adjustments with whatever this news was, there's something you're excited about. There's some new way of looking at the world that now brings you into the spring. Once you get through February, well, I say spring because I'm in the northern hemisphere, but that brings you through February into March, getting really excited about how these changes, even if they didn't feel ideal or they felt like this information had been hidden or it was hard to get this information. Now that you have it and can work with it, now you're getting excited about seeing how this new way of being in the world is going to work for you. Temperance and the Hanged One are really significant cards, right? They're really kind of weighted cards that suggest February is going to motivate you internally to make some big shifts that then, as I said, allow for this whole kind of shift for how you interface. It's not a mundane day-to-day kind of dealing with life. These are kind of milestone changes. And so I think when you look back at 2026, I think you'll see February as a month when you had the big idea that changed everything. Okay, Capricorn, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this has been inspiring. Hi, Aquarius. Let's grab your rune. Ooh, Canaz. I love that one. I can see that. Okay, and your tarot. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So here's the cool thing. Canaz is all about illumination, the spark of inspiration, knowledge, right? So there's something here, some kind of spark, some kind of energy, something that energizes you. There's the gift of that, sort of fire of knowledge. So whether, and of course you don't have to be a student, but there's something here that you're working on, maybe a personal project, maybe just something that jazzes you, looking at history or learning to crochet or studying for an audition for, whatever it is. It'll be different for different Aquarians, right? You guys are kind of eggheads anyway. You love learning stuff. So whatever it is for you, there's something here that's exciting you, that you get to learn about. Maybe it's a side project. Maybe it's for your day job. Maybe you're retired and you're just, writing the great American novel. Whatever it is, there's something here that's leading you forward based on this spark of energy that's based in learning, knowledge, inspiration. It's the fire of knowledge. The energy is tied to illumination or knowledge. Okay. Now, interestingly here, the very first card we have, or sort of the theme here, is the Five of Swords, which indicates misinformation or disinformation. So there's some piece of your studies or a communication or something that has been faulty, or you have been given bad intel, or you have been misinformed or indoctrinated with false information, or something along those lines, and you have been operating or working with bad intel or bad information, or maybe even rumors or something like that. So you find out probably fairly early in the month that you have misinformation, or something doesn't go to plan, or something misfires because of this bad information, or it is revealed to you that you didn't have the correct information, or you were operating with a rumor or something. And that's okay, because you haven't lost the war. You can go back and get better information, or get a better source, or re-educate yourself, or whatever you need to do. Your project isn't lost, or you're not, whatever it is you're working on. And this can happen, this can be for any number of ways, right? This could affect you in a personal relationship, like maybe, here's a terrible example. I hope this is true for none of you. Like, I hope this isn't true for anybody, but it could be the thing where you thought the person you were dating was single and they were actually married the whole time. That could be the misinformation, right? It could be they straight up lied to you. I hope that's not true for anybody listening to this, but that could be one way this plays out. It could be that you thought, the boundaries of your property were, in one area, and you had been working to maybe put up a shed on one piece, and then you find out your boundaries weren't where you thought they were, and now your project has to be redone. Your shed project has to be redone, or whatever. It could be something along those lines. It could be your great American novel has to be edited a bit because you were using a faulty source. I mean, there's a million ways this misinformation could play out, right? It could be you heard that a particular position at your workplace was opening up, and you submitted your resume, and that position isn't open at all, but sort of different one is open, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But my point is that whatever misinformation kind of led you down the wrong path, it doesn't mean the shed project can't happen. It just has to be retooled, right? It doesn't mean you can't find love. It just means probably the married guy is not going to be able to marry you, right? You can still find love, but probably with a different person. I hate that example. I'm so sorry I brought that up, but that's, but going back for better information and rewriting the chapter on, George Washington and the cherry tree, or whatever it is, you can fix whatever needs to be fixed. If it's an interpersonal relationship, maybe you accused your sister of, I don't know, stealing your college sweatshirt when you found out it was your son that put it through the dryer and shrunk it and didn't want to tell you about it. Whenever the information is really revealed, you can fix it, right? Now, the Eight of Swords indicates a time when we hold ourselves back because of insecurities, when usually this comes up when we are fearful that we're not enough, that we maybe believe the high school mean girls or the elementary school bullies or whatever it is, or a critical parent, or, social media and all the celebrities taking Ozempic, or, whatever it is. When we're too critical of ourselves, is kind of what the Eight of Swords is all about. And you can see it looks like in the artwork and in most Eight of Swords, the central character is in like a kind of a prison, except for she's not in jail. She could easily get up and walk away. She's just in the prison of her own mind, right? So if you need to reach out to a friend or somebody to help you, encourage you to just walk up and throw those swords away and get on with your life. It might be that kind of situation, or just find it within yourself to get better information, like with the Five of Swords. The Swords suit is always about, where are you getting your information? Is it accurate? Is it useful? Is it helpful? If it is, great. If not, toss it and get a better source of information. And these are just really a bunch of lies. So we don't need these lies. These aren't, this is not helpful information. So we need to go back to a better source and get better information, because you're awesome and your sister didn't steal your college sweatshirt or whatever it was. All right, I've belabored these points, right? Let's go on to the Two of Pentacles, which is kind of a cool card. And this is all about juggling resources, juggling projects, juggling maybe a day job and a hobby, maybe a day job and going to school to get a license to get maybe a better job or a more fulfilling job, certainly. Maybe it's the one where you've got a day job and you're writing the great American novel. You could be retired, so this could be you juggling, book club with taking care of the grandkids kind of thing. Whatever it is, it's the situation where you're juggling a number of obligations. And the fact that these two things show up here, and it could be more. You could be one of those people with a bunch of side hustles and hyphens to your kind of job title and job, self-descriptor, content creator and entrepreneur and spokesmodel. But, it shows that you put in a lot of effort and have a lot of passion and a lot of hustle. We don't take for granted that, you're putting all this effort into your world. So don't fret if something is not quite going to plan. Don't be too hard on yourself if things aren't perfect yet, or if it's taking longer than you had hoped. The fact that your side hustle, whatever it is showing up, means it's worth the effort, that you're building something worth nurturing. Keep at it. It's worth the effort, because we see over here finally, I mean, I know it seemed over in this side things weren't looking too great, but over here we have the Nine of Cups, which is just one of the best cards in the deck, really. It's the wish fulfillment card. Traditionally, it means being seen, being validated. It means something coming in that feels like you're on the right path. So whether you get a bunch of followers, whether you get a promotion or an employee of the month kind of notification, something comes in that says to you, in whatever way it would make sense in your world, it'll be different for different Aquarians, right? Something comes in for you that says, hey, you're doing a great job. I see you. You're awesome. Something that counteracts this, by the way, something from the outside world comes in that says, you are worthy. You're doing a great job. You're making it happen. Keep at it. And, it may have something to do with your knowledge. You're something that you're all fired up about, but it's likely to be connected to one of your artistic projects, or a romantic situation, or a friend group, something like that. So, phew, Aquarius, it's going to maybe feel like something that was momentarily, briefly felt like a loss, or maybe even a whoopsie. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Hang in there. We've all been duped or hit reply all when we didn't mean to. So whatever happened here, don't let it keep you down. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't worry about imperfections. Keep at it. Keep plugging away. What you're working on is worthy. It's worth it. And you're about to see the proof. You're about to get the validation that what you're doing is worth it, has value, and people are into it, and people are into you. So I'm going to leave it there, Aquarius. I hope this has been inspiring. Hi, Pisces. Let's grab your rune. Legos. Okay. That's very Pisces. Okay, and let's grab some tarot. Oh. Oh boy, okay. We can handle this. So Legoo's is very Piscean. It's lake or lagoon, water basically. It's all about your emotions, dreams, intuition, sort of the psyche. It's got a very creative element to it, right? So, you know, going with the flow, dealing with your emotions, dealing with your creativity. So for any artists, this is a great omen for creating some art or leaning into your artistic side. For anybody who's doing any sort of emotional work, shadow work, that sort of thing. This is also a great sign for some breakthroughs there. So let's keep that in mind as we look at the tarot. Now, first of all, let's not freak out about the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles does suggest a time of burnout or reduced resources. So now, for me, the Five of Pentacles usually comes up when I've been working too hard and I can be under the weather, that I literally work myself to illness. So that's usually what I see with the Five of Pentacles. It can also indicate a time when maybe you're a little low on funds. You might have to borrow from mom or a sister to pay the mortgage or the rent or something like that. That's sometimes how it can show up, or just simply being worried about if you're going to be able to make rent or something like that. I hate having to say that, but you know, it's the card that showed up, so I'm always honest about what I see here. However, for me personally, and I'm not a rich person by any stretch. I have a couple of jobs actually, and I have to. This is not how I make my money. This comes up for me when I am just stretched too thin and I make myself ill. So the inherent message with this card is make sure you're dressing properly for the weather, make sure you're eating well, getting enough sleep, delegate if you can, say no to extra obligations if you can. don't work yourself into illness. If you need to ask someone to, like pick up cold medication from the drugstore or whatever, ask for help. That's the other piece of the Five of Pentacles, is ask for support. Don't be afraid to ask for support. There's just a time when you can't go it alone, when you can't shoulder everything, especially when you're under the weather or when you're low on resources. So if you need someone to help pick up the kids or whatever it is, ask for support. That said, you have a couple of other really great cards here, including the Page of Wands, which is very much about being inspired, being excited, having something to go for, something to share. You might get some really good news that you get to share, news that is about a creative project or possibly an athletic endeavor. Take it as it resonates for you. Depending on how, kind of like what your hobbies or interests are. It could be something that you're excited to learn about too, depending on whether you're student, retired, on the career path, whatever it is. But this is good news and exciting, and sort of that inspiring, life-affirming kind of situation. It'd be the kind of thing, just as a couple of examples, maybe you get cast in a play, maybe you get put on the dean's list, if you're a student. Maybe somebody really cute flirts with you on the dating apps. It could be any one of those things. But it's the kind of thing that has a bit of an ego attachment, your healthy ego. It's good to have a healthy ego and a healthy ego sort of validation, right? So something along those lines. And then the best card in your whole spread here is the Sun. The Sun is clarity, victory. It usually indicates gaining something or winning something, an honor, an achievement, something that you wanted comes through. You get to go for something you want. There can be romance here if you want it. There can be some sort of a win or advancement. Certainly, vitality returns if you did get sick under the Five of Pentacles. It's interesting that you have the Sun in tandem with Legoo's. It could be that some of you go to a sunny location by the water, maybe a beach vacation for some of you. It's not going to be everybody, but take it as it applies. For some of you, this would just be, some sort of career victory, or maybe romance, or just the clarity on something, or your health returning. That feels, after you've been sick, once your health returns, it can be a real celebration, right? Now, there is another fiery card in a different kind of way here with the Five of Wands, and that can indicate a little bit of a chaotic situation near the end of the month. And this could just be because maybe if you do get a new job or something, it could cause some chaos as you're leaving the old job, or some sort of victory that causes some friction as you pass the baton, as it were, as you leave your old place, or as you transfer to the new department, just training somebody else to take on your old duties or something. There could be a little bit of friction or jealousy, something along those lines. There could be friction or jealousy at home or in your friend group. The Five of Wands tends to indicate a little bit of friction, jealousy, scheduling issues, a little bit of chaos among who's in charge here. So as you celebrate your sort of win, your victory, your recognition, return to vitality, or your return from your vacation here, there could be a little bit of confusion or chaos or jealousy. But take it in your stride and be the gracious Pisces that I know you are, because there are some lesser evolved individuals that just aren't as gracious as you are. But Pisces, just a reminder, please take care of yourself, and please do reach out for help and ask for help if you need a little bit of support when you're under the weather or whatever. The Five of Pentacles happens for you. But other than that, there's some really lovely victory or a positive situation, an extremely positive situation for you this month. So please enjoy, and I'm going to leave it there for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been inspiring.